The music's coming right at me. All right, my name is Michael Gough. My partner in crime, Ian Robertson's here in spirit. He did text me to stay home with the kids. But hey, I'll try to do as good a job as I can without his presence. But a lot of credit of what we've done here goes to Ian as well, so I just want to give him a shout out and kudos. I'm not going to spend a lot of time about me. You want to find me? Hacker Hurricane. I'm the BSides Austin lead, BSides Texas partner. So if you can't use Google, then fail. You shouldn't be an InfoSec. Really? It's not going to work? Oh. So much for AV. So participation is required. I want this to be interactive. Hold the questions to the end, but if you need some clarification, then ask for it so I can expand upon it in the slides, okay? Fair note? So we'll spend as much time talking about the end. I will rip through some of these slides pretty quick. You can read as well as I can read. I don't want to read PowerPoint to you. I want you to get the points across, and I want you to understand what I'm talking about. This presentation will be posted on the webpage I'm about to tell you about, and you guys can download it. It'll be minus a few slides, but all the rest will be intact. So you can download it, and delve in, and send us questions. But definitely participation. This is B-Sides, right? It's all about the community. I don't mind being challenged. We don't have any smooth balls, but you can throw them at me. You want to call bullshit, call bullshit. So let's start off with what the problem is. This Prezzo assumes three things. You will be pwned. You have already been pwned, or you don't know it, right? So that's where we're at today. We're no longer comfortable saying, "Now this won't happen to me." Now, there's a joke there about my former employer in the state of Texas who loves to say that, but nevertheless, it will happen to you, or already has. How many people here have it happen to somewhere they've worked? Every hand in this room should go up, right? So it's the reality. I found this interesting. I don't really take vendors' information to heart, but when I find something good, I do like to provide this information to you for management, because that's what this stuff's good for, right? Management. And CyberArk, if you don't know who they are, they make a password management solution. But nevertheless, the thing to take out of here is, do you believe a cyber attacker is currently in your network or has breached your network in the past year? 51% say yes. Okay? Those numbers were low a few years ago, and now they're high. People are starting to be honest. It used to be, you've been owned, you haven't been owned, or you don't know, which doesn't mean you're a liar. So they're starting to admit it. That's a good thing. You can't fix the problem until you admit there's a problem. Malware is exploding, folks. If you haven't or don't track this information, you should. We'll talk about that. But the takeaway here is, this is the graph starting about 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11. Notice where 11 is. 2012 of total malware, same timeline, new malware. 2012 right here, 2011 right here. All of 2011. In 2013, January 1st to May 1st, has already exceeded that number right there on 2011. We are looking at almost a doubling or more from 2 years ago in new malware development, right? It's powering up. It is getting ready to blow you away. It is the problem. Anybody read this? Has anybody read it? Is anybody familiar with WinNTI? Show of hands. Let's just say, here's the disclaimer. I'm not here representing the company I work for, but I know a lot about this. And I can't necessarily talk about it until I finish dealing with these guys. Okay? So I will gladly take that offline and discuss any information you might be curious about. Notice the date, April 2013. I've known about this stuff since May of 2012. We have known about this stuff. So the reality is, the problem is growing fast. It's growing really fast. It's not going away. They're getting sneakier, stealthier, and smarter. Look how long it took to detect. Come on. Stuxnet, Duco, Flame Skywiper, and WinNTI. Took years. Okay? Took years. We do need a new way. thus the basis of this presentation. The experts. Again, good management information, but we're going to pick on this a little bit more and pick it apart. Verizon data breach report, DBIR, we all love it and know it. Has everybody in this room read it? Who hasn't read it? You need to read it. You need to read it and live it and understand what it says and where you fit in that picture. Okay, you really do. It's a required InfoSec reading material. But the reality is, the average of detection of a breach or compromise, we won't debate what they mean, breach and compromise are different, is 210 days. That's 3/4 of a year, 2/3 of a year. That's a long time. And by the way, 90% or so, third party, this is an older one, so 64%, but that's even up from this year. You're being told by someone else. That's the crappy part. Your own people are not detecting it. The hardcore facts. Of roughly 30 files we've uploaded to VirusTotal in our research, in our events, we have a fantastic detection rate of, this includes phishing emails, by the way. What do you think? Blurt them out, come on. Participation.
0.
3%, 0, 0. 13. Anybody higher than 13?
5.
5. 18. 3%.
Oh.
That is only because of the phishing emails. So take the phishing emails out, solely count on APT that we get, 0. And that's because they usually use a bad launcher to get something going that gets detected and then their other stuff drops in. Still, stuff we have from last year is not being detected. We have notified 12 companies, one of which I have a friend for. I said, I need you to look at this. Their lab came back and said, there's nothing wrong with this. No, you don't understand. You really need to look at this. Remember the second slide back there that I can't talk about? They really need to look at this. That's what we're dealing with AV. Yes?
Do you have any data, how many samples you had, VirusTotal covered and you also covered, and some of the samples you covered and VirusTotal have no idea, But do you have the percentage,
Right. There's something to understand. So what did VirusTotal detect and cover, what we know and cover? There's something about AV that everybody needs to understand. Everybody says AV sucks. It doesn't trigger on stuff you think it should trigger on. If you don't understand this concept of shh, don't tell, the AV companies all do it. There is stuff that they detect you are not alerted to, even owning the product, having a support contract. They will not tell you.
They want your money.
Whether it's litigation, feds, you name it, they won't say it. So shh, don't tell is a piece of that. So there's no way for us to answer that question because we don't know what they're detecting on the back end because they won't even tell the end user. Okay? So our defenses are failing us. I've heard some great talks here. Renegade talked about using the tools you already have. Myself and my buddy over here, Greg Smith, will tell you how the default configuration of tools will fail you. Ian and myself had multiple conversations with companies like BitNine and Tripwire, sharing flaws in their products, saying, we want you to understand this. We've been pretty harsh. I've been pretty harsh on BitNine. But that's because they have malware in the repository, and they still haven't taken it out, and we've given it to them. Why is it in there? So again, we need to understand what's failing, and we need to quit relying on these tools because a fool with a tool is still a fool without the knowledge to apply it. Default conditions of tools will burn you something fierce. So if you rely on that, plug the box in and it will work. Man, you need to seriously refine, tweak, and find every option and capability of that tool you can and squeak everything out of it for it to really help you. Because if we know it, they know it. The nefarious ne'er-do-wellers, as we refer to them as. So, they use valid certs. Let's pick on BitNine. What does BitNine justify their trust with? A lot of times, certs in their console. I trust blah. I trust Intel, Microsoft, Lenovo, maybe Tencent. And if you do that, all this malware would have taken you out.
Why?
The model's broken.
Why?
Because they're using real certificates, and in BitNine, for example, other solutions as well, you actually can trust a payload based on who signs it. Yeah, if I find out Microsoft got popped, they'll revoke the certificate and I can go in and deal with it later. Look at that list. If anybody wants proof, by the way, there is a Lenovo backdoor. Yeah, there is. This is bad. What's worse about certificates are not only are they using them. So at first my thought was they popped some of these companies and are stealing the certificates and re-signing. I'm not 100% certain now that I've had some time to tear them apart. We're finding indications of using a valid Microsoft file or a valid signed file, tweaking the headers and the information to bypass the area that's signed, not the whole file signed, by the way, and launching their bad code, keeping the certificate and the signed file intact. It's tricky, but son of a bitch, they do it. Okay? So we just cannot trust this. This is broken. Do not rely on certificates. How do you love the green bars? Shades of green. Man, they need to go back to the old, well, I have it in the next slide because I did, okay. Don't bother reading this. Just look at the boxes. This is the time to compromise, really fast. This is the time to detect and eradicate, really slow. Where we need to be.
Question here.
What's that?
So between the malware appear to affect the machines, to we have signature coverage, the gap normally how long, have you seen?
I would say 210 days is probably pretty good. I would say more, remember, those are the companies that are being studied.
What 200 days?
210 days is the average. Some are taking years. My personal opinion is those big companies that are getting detected in 200 make the average. Most companies are way longer than that, if at all. I don't believe most companies can detect that they're compromised, period. That's my personal opinion. I would say it's an 80-20 rule.
And on the other side, what's the time for it to get in effect, get data, and leave, right?
Minutes. I'll
right.
talk about that.
That's what Chris was saying, 3 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah. Anybody? So where we need to be, which we have no control over, is compromise. But look at this, man, they are in and out in a matter of hours. I mean, right there, hours. Days falls off, almost nothing after that. They are in and out of your environment in probably less than a week if they're doing whatever they're doing. And the reason it's taking this long is they're trying to find stuff that's kind of hard to find. Yes?
So you're saying the time from initial compromise to exfiltration is days?
Minutes or hours, quite
Minutes or
personally.
hours.
Yeah. The only reason it's taking days is because once they're in poking around and they've started to do stuff, they've gained a foothold and they are bleeding you dry and you're about to make the paper. That is not what you want to happen to you. That is game over, and there's a matter of hours. You're screwed in a matter of days. That's the reality of what the slide really says in your takeaway. Yeah.
In the slide, is that a positive correlation between being popped and then finding the remnants of being popped weeks to months to years later?
Right. The problem is this number here is being told to you by a third party. I found your data on Pastebin. In our particular case, of the breach that I was involved with, Texas' largest, someone else let us know there was some data on a server that probably shouldn't be there.
So that's the identification that your data is gone, not finding the...
Not necessarily data. This is you discovering you have a compromise. Data is something that comes later. You're not sure what's lost until you figure it out. It's backwards.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, though, is are you finding...
Verizon's data is terrible.
are you finding the compromise, or are you finding the actual code?
This is Verizon's data, so you'd have to clarify with them what exactly this description is. This is time to compromise a box, whatever that means. This is the time the people, us, are detecting the compromise. The reality is I'd love the bad guys to be here. Yeah. Time-based security, right? Win short tow, whole time. USS Cole, turn the gun, lower the gun, boat's under the gun, bam, ship blows up. They didn't give enough time to react. I'd love for this to be the case. We really have no control over this. But we have full control over this. The Malware Management Framework deals with this blue box right here.
It's totally broken. The industry has done something to shrink the time window, and what you guys have done to try to shrink that. 210 days, that's
no, it's
even 10 days,
I can tell you why it's this. Either A, we lack skilled labor, B, management's stupid, meaning they don't fund us, they don't give us the tools we need. I'll talk about tools a little later. But the reality is we need to get better. The information I'm sharing here, if you practice what I am preaching today, you are going to be in this blue box. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Money back guarantee. Since what you can do here, by the way, is also free. Let's blow your mind with that one. So we would love to shift this that way, but we really need to shift this one this way, because that's just something you're going to do. The better you are at this, the harder it will be for them at that. You want to be a good red team person, you better be a good blue team person first. So here's the old Verizon slide. This is clear as can be. Yep, bummer. Time between compromise and fixing it. That's real easy. There ain't nobody fixing it or detecting it at all fast. Seconds, minutes, hours, starting to in days, getting to around to it in weeks, biggest chunk in months. 210-day average. This is far clearer. So TrustWave has theirs, but look at the number. This is, if you can't read it, 10 to 30 days, less than 10 days. 10 to 30 days, less than 10 days. 4%, 5%. People, we need to be here and here when it comes to our defenses. Okay? Everything you do in InfoSec should be focused at solving this problem. I don't care what management tells you. This is the reality. Use these slides, convince them, we need to get better. What does that mean? Start focusing on that. So how does it impact you? Participation. What do you guys do? Blurt it out when one workstation gets popped. Come on, blurt it out. What do you do? Greg, I know what you do.
Wipe it.
Wipe it. Easy. Done. Move on. Speed of business. What about 10 workstations? How many people had to deal with 10 workstations being popped? What did you do? Wipe it?
Wipe it and cry.
Wipe it and cry, wipe it and cry. Did anybody go into deep forensics?
On one of the 10.
Two hands on one of them. What about 100 workstations? Now what do you do? Oh shit is what you do. 1,000 workstations. Someone just got fired. Okay? That's the reality of those previous slides. What about servers? How many people here are going to reimage one server? Yeah, okay. 10 servers? Oh boy. 100 servers? 1,000 servers? I work for a gaming company. Not going to happen. You're taking down money making. I've got to find a way to deal with this problem and not reimage. Okay? So if you're in this boat, yeah, manageable. Yeah, manageable. This big numbers are not. So what do? Do you forensic it? Gigabyte drives, terabyte drives? How about petabyte drives? Yottabyte drives? The government's NSA petabyte drives, what the hell are called? How about NASA's? How about SANs? Greg and I had to decommission a SAN. Man, we did magic to make sure we couldn't get data off that damn thing because it had no wipe capability. So we bracked it up all over up to days of Sunday. There is no way to deal with this problem. It's not reality. I can't take this thing out and dupe it.
You don't have time to.
And you don't have time to. It's money. So what about the downtime? What about customer perception? What about labor to recover? Hope for the best? You need to move at the speed of business. That's the reality today. All your management wants to know is how fast you get this crap out of here and move on. We got bigger problems. We got money to make. Okay? Management expects that fast answer. Lack of budget. We all have this issue. We've got to use what we have, do a better job with it, refine it, refine it, refine it. Renegade 6 talk earlier, perfect. He took what he had, refined it, started finding malware. Lack of resources, well, 20% growth rate. As someone said earlier, the guy who's been here 6 months is starting to train someone who's been there a week. Okay, we need to get some of us senior people training people like you, like that old guy there training people and this old guy training people, so that you guys all get better. That's why we do this. But the goal, get up and running fast. I don't care about deep forensics. I do, but I don't. But if you're going to do it, what I'm telling you has no effect on deep forensics. So how much does it cost? How much does it cost if you fail? The cost of South Carolina, we talked about this in the breach thing. I quoted a number of $35 million the state of South Carolina has spent, and I updated that number when I was in the meetings. I looked up, they have spent $12 million alone on notifying, or doing the credit monitoring of 1 million people. 12 million they spent on it.
Is this actually accurate, or is that a lot of dogpile? Like, yeah, we have a breach, now we can fund all our initiatives.
This is open records. Thank God, open records. This is published, required by law data. I can tell you roughly what I feel we ended up spending before and after I left the comptroller of Texas, but it's millions and millions and millions of dollars, I can buy a lot of security solutions, and we did not. It's about reputational saving and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, figure what's the cost of a stamp?
What's the cost of a stamp?
How many records were lost?
3.5 million records
Times?
cost $2.5 million just to notify by letter. No requirement of state law to do so. Flush $2.5 million. You know what Greg and I can do with $2.5 million? Pretty much solve the problem, to be honest. So these numbers are real. This is what you sell to management. Thank God for public disclosure, because this is what big companies would do as well. How about little companies? How about somebody who's typical, small SMBs? I can tell you these are real numbers. This is a typical expected cost if you have Mandiant come in and do everything. I don't know, but it's popped. Go find it. 1 or 100 or 1,000. It will cost you that a week, or that an engagement, plus or minus. They go back, write reports.
And it still takes them the same amount of time.
Till it takes them the same amount of time. If you don't help them, they can't help you. It's gonna cost you a lot of money. So what do I tell management? I'm gonna save you that amount of money. I'm gonna justify my salary. This won't be needed again. Yes, I will put my job on the line and say I can clean those servers. And I did. Justified my existence. Management loves that. You're starting to make headway. So expect 100K minimum per incident. That would buy an awful lot of security tools. How many people have been popped and used a provider more than once? How many feet and hands do I have? So sucks to be you. It's getting hot, right? Powering up, here it comes. You're about to go down. So what's the solution? Just give up and go find another job, update your resume. Show of hands. How many of you work for organizations that do the following with responding to suspected malware? I accept that AV cleaned it and moved on. Is anybody going to admit by raising their hands on this one?
What?
Greg's going, well, that's what they do, but I don't agree with it. How about run another AV scan and say, we did 2 of them. Reimage the workstation, very common. We've seen a lot of talks that are starting to say, just reimage it, move on.
Yeah, but you don't learn and you don't fix it.
Well,
There's a lot to be learned about deep forensics, I agree with you.
Not even forensics. You just like nuke it from space. We don't even care what it smells like.
Yes.
But are they imaging it and then re-imaging it?
Are they imaging it and re-imaging it? Maybe.
yeah.
I happen to believe, someone asked me recently in an interview, what do you do when users are getting constantly popped? Maybe it's not one guy 5 times, maybe it's 5 people. Do you beat them over the head? If you allow your environment to the point where these users can get popped, you really can't. Re-imaging is a great educator. It's downtime for the user, they don't like it. You just be nice about it, educate them in the process and say, you want to avoid this? Keep your data off the C drive so I can re-image you faster. Put your data somewhere else, preferably on the network where it can be backed up, and we can get you up and running in an hour.
It's not really the user's fault.
It isn't the user's fault.
It's usually, we're making you run IE6. You're going to get popped on all sorts of websites.
Right.
It's our fault. Oh, by the way, we're going to inconvenience you.
Oh yeah.
For
Yep.
decisions we're making.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Get management to get rid of IE6.
It's really environmentally just where you're at. You can get rid of IE6, you still have a lot of.
Oh, you'll get it with Firefox, you'll get it with Chrome, but educate your users, no script, not script, web of trust. I mean, start educating them in the course of re-imaging them. Re-image a server, maybe 1 or 2 here. You got 2 domain controllers, you can re-image one, go do the other one. You got a couple mail servers, blah, 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 you get the point. Spend investigating manually using forensic tool a few hours, a few days, a few weeks. How many people here spend a few hours and move on to the next thing? How many people spend a few days? How many people spend a few weeks, right? It's a lot of time, and you're on one system. Take an encase image before the last version, Greg and I were talking about this, and turn it into something you can actually use and surf and all that stuff is days in and of itself, to the point where you even get to the point you can start doing some real research. So the concept's simple. Understand what you have, use the good, find the bad. Sounds simple enough, doesn't it? You may never understand everything you have, and you don't have to. But you can eliminate more than 90% of the chaff. This is what you call taking the hay away from the hay pile so the needle sticks out. In some cases, it will glow bright red or green or purple. And the needle will appear. Well, that's not a very Star Wars picture, but you really can't see what's hiding there. But you get the point. So introducing the Malware Management Framework. This Prezo, minus a few slides, one at the beginning, several at the end, will be on this in a couple days. So I highly recommend everybody go start reading what's on here. Everything I'm talking about is in there in a little more detail. There's also the concept of malware reporting standard. And if we have a little time at the end, I'll pop those up if the internet's going to cooperate with me. So there it is, malwaremanagementframework.org. mi2security.com will also get you there. So what is it? It's virtually no cost to set up. What? A solution that's free? Yes. If you can get a PC that can run some sort of VM, you are halfway there. That's pretty much the biggest extent of the cost. You don't have to buy a product. You can, but you don't have to. It's easy enough to maintain. And it will significantly help reduce incident response costs. Remember that the Mandiant or Protiviti costs I showed there, a little spreadsheet? That money would go down from 130 to 25, 30, 40, 50 if you did this before they got there. I'm telling you that based on what I've done. So think vulnerability management, but just with DARF malware. So advantages. Remember we said it will happen to you, so you do have to prepare. Do not ignore this point. You can identify bad jar jar. You can. Keep moving at the speed of business. That's the goal, that's the premise of the Malware Management Framework. You can put a flowchart together and offshoot it and say deep forensics. You replace the workstation, you take that workstation, you hand it to Greg, you move on. Greg will deal with the forensics later. If you need help from Mandiant, Protiviti, or Ian and I, it will save you boatloads of money because you've taken a bunch of A, moved it aside and said, it's somewhere in here, but I don't have the talent, time, or resources. You can use it for incidents, you can use it to verify your system's clean. How many here are absolutely positively sure the image they use for their workstations or servers are clean? How did our guys build those? How do you verify that image is clean? No hands, really? See? Couple? I got one here, it's pretty clever. It's tough. Well, he's using our stuff, so he's on the logic that we have. He uses. And again, way faster than traditional forensics. Not replacement. It's a different parallel. Some might, you make a decision, you split. Sniper forensics, deep forensics, traditional forensics. So how do you do it? 3 components. Master file repository. Tools, whatever you want, I don't care. I'll give you a couple examples of them. And then malware management. First, master file repository. Build a VM. Okay? You got a Windows box, version whatever, server, version whatever, ESXi, several VMs, build it from scratch, use media, nothing on disk. Don't think they don't drop files in your repository. It sits on a server. Build it from media, from scratch. Go get it from the IT guys, your InfoSec guys. You can do this. You can build a box all on your own. There are roughly 200,000 files on a Windows box, depending on how many apps you have installed. Okay? Again, we're looking for the hay. We're looking to get rid of 200,000. We're looking to get rid of 160 or more thousand. Yes.
Assuming you're using some type of hash value, why not be this repository?
So let me get this straight. You trust the government repository of data that totally can be altered? I'll talk about the hash thing in a second. But again, what you have and what you know is what the goal of this is. You are not trusting anybody else at this moment. You built this Windows machine in this VM off the network, you plug it in, you patch it, you bring it all current, you unplug it. You now have a base Windows image. You hash that sucker, you take that little script and thing tool you come up with, you go to the suspect box with a thumb drive and this hash file with a lot of stuff in it, and you compare the two. You took this problem, that's this many files, down to some subset. And now you have a deeper focus on what the unknown is. And again, it doesn't require you a lot of time. Start installing the applications. You got Exchange, install Exchange. If it's a workstation, install your PDF reader, Adobe, whatever, this, that, and the other thing. Install, install, install. You're trying to put as much as you can into that box. It does not have to be on the wire. You bring it up, you let it go out, you let it download, patch everything, once a week, month, whatever you want to do. That's part of the process. But what you're trying to do is fill this with as much as possible. Yes?
Is that golden image solution actually working in the enterprise, like multiple countries, enterprise?
It can, it does not have to function. If I have an application I can't install, I can extract the files onto the box, good enough.
Yeah, well, logically it sounds good, but in reality, just back to your point, like company, they have like 400 old images.
Yeah, but
themselves.
if they're Windows-based, 90% of all Windows images are the same files. You are eliminating an incredible amount of those 400 systems if it's Windows.
All right.
Same thing with Linux, works for anything.
Your focus is to the OS and down layer, not the
System, any applications on the system, host-based, that you install, that your users use, your servers run, is where we're at. We're not focused about anything outside that. And again, install the applications through the OS. Put your Office, put your Adobe, put your whatever your core apps are onto it, okay? Unplug the system when you're done. Do not leave this thing plugged in. Update it whenever you update your systems. We monitor this. Every time we have a program file, big fix analysis, we monitor this. If something changes, we see that someone installed something, we now know that we have to go obtain that and put it in our repository if we so choose to do so. Okay, we do it with big things. It's an analysis. But Jedi tip, combine this with an application software approval process. I want to download application XYZ, subversion, whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
let me do that for you.
Let me do that for you. Here's a copy for you. Here's a copy from my repository. That didn't take very long. Totally doable. You will have a bell curve when you first do this, but it will fall out pretty quick. Remember, you're trying to take as much chaff and hay out of the picture as possible. It is really not that hard. We do it with 1,000 user base and 1,000+ servers and gaming. It's surprising how little really changes week to week from a user perspective. It is easily maintainable by a greenhorn. So here's what the process looks like in GIST, right? So we basically have the MFR, master file repository, we run our script, whatever it may be, tool, what have you, to produce some output. There is no connection here. Do not put this thing in your network. There's no need unless you're plugging it in to update, download. You are not making calls to it. You're not net using to it. Do not make the mistake Bit9 did. Oh, sorry, we got the VM machine, we powered it up, it had malware, phoned home, certificate's gone. Oop, our bad. Don't do that. This is clean, sanitized. The only way you can trust it is if it's unplugged. So then you take your analysis system, however you want to do it. You can run your scripts using this data. You can put it on here, that's fine. But make sure you always use a clean version. Keep it somewhere safe. And then look at your suspect system with the data. Yes?
How do you handle patches, you know? There's a lot of patch every day, every minute, every hour. Actually, a lot of software you patch, you know?
Yep.
So every time you update your master file repository, that's really...
You got to plug it in and update it. Whether you manually bring the media over or download, whatever, however you're doing your patches, you know what your company's patch cycle is. If you're doing your testing and you're doing your patches, okay, I've got to plug this in, go get the Microsoft latest, greatest pile of crap, update it. I got to go to Adobe, update it. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go run Zucchini. Anybody know what Zucchini PSI is? CSI? Use that, run it, power it up, plug the cable in, let it check everything, say you need these updates, go update them, unplug it, you're done. Rerun the script. It really isn't a lot of work, surprisingly.
I think the important thing to note is, like, if the higher you can set the baseline, the more hay you're throwing off. Like, that's what people like.
Ding, ding, ding,
if
ding.
you can get everything, that's great. But like,
Yep.
my computer ships with 1 billion files on it, right?
Yep.
That's crazy.
It is
well,
crazy.
Out the door on my Windows system, I can at least say, well, we know about these, and yeah, every day that goes by, they're adding more and changing more. But I at least don't have to check those, and I can keep reiterating and learning and getting that baseline higher.
Yep, exactly. And all you do is just keep adding to your repository. It will get better as you use it. It does not take very long. So again, think RSA, Bit9, Opera. Do not leave this on the network. I've said this at least 10 times. Trust the system because it's unplugged. I manage when it's connected. The probability of them finding that box when I plug that in is almost nothing, especially if you're practicing this every day. You can highly isolate it. There are some of us that are good enough to do this. Don't do this. That's my recommendation. And again, you want one from each type of system. And you'll be malware free, right? These systems have got to be malware free. Darth malware. So incident response. Okay, I'll try my Yoda. An incident you had. Need help you with. This thing, if you run this, and you can give Mandy or Protivity or myself and Ian that short list of files, I'll be in and out of your environment in a week. And I will tell you the system's clean, or not. Mandiant at a short engagement is 2 weeks, and they're off-site some of the time. So big savings in money. You want to convince management, show them the money savings here. Investigate the suspect system, use your repository, eliminate the files you know are good. If you bring in Mandiant TrustWave, they'll love it because they don't have to look through it as much either. Remember how Mirror works. Agent goes in a box, scan everything, give me back stuff that's fishy. Yeah, but I just eliminated 80, 90, 95% of what you're looking at, so don't look at that. Oh, cool. They'll love it. Mirror's not intelligent enough to use this, but that's their problem. Your costs will be far less. This is a money saver. It's real. You don't have to buy anything here. Just go get some decent powered PC, workstation, or server to build these VMs on. Heck, a lot of us have private clouds, so we can capitalize on it. So how? Again, use traditional forensic techniques, too slow. Use SHA-1, MD5D, SIGCheck, etc. Whatever you want to do. A Python script, I don't care. There's a million ways to accomplish this. These tools, I'll tell you right here, is what we use. It's not hard. It spits out a nice text file. You can do a diff between text file A and text file B. Good, bad systems. What's the diff? Fall out? Great. I now know where to focus. Check the bad hashes, compare the good hashes, script it so you can do it faster. But here you go, tag your it, community effort. The Malware Management Framework is public community effort that Ian and I are saying, please come out, use Renegade 6's talk, use what you have. If you've got a tweet to McAfee or whatever tool or write a script and you want to publish it to say, I'm using this, I'm doing this, I don't want to let other people have it, we'll publish it for you on our website, not a problem. Create new stuff. Use your clever, come up with something to better this scenario. We'll post your ideas, give you full credit. Buy so-and-so links to whatever you want. This is for the community, for the world. So again, what do we use and love? Think tools. Yep, the ones we have, default configurations, don't work. Tripwire does not monitor Windows 10 by default.
Where does
malware gets
Yeah, where's malware go?
Yeah, that's where all the malware goes. Not to mention the scripts that Tripwire makes also go there, and they show up in the reports, and there's no way to get rid of them. Kind of a pain in the butt. And again, we're a big fix house. I do not patch with big fix. That's its core purpose. They have an analysis language in. Tanium would be another example that's cheaper. You don't want to deal with IBM. The analysis we create out of big fix, look for all these things, which I'll talk about in a minute. And again, you set up analysis, filters, and scans of file location, file types, registry locations. Has anything changed? Anything new in the last 24 hours? Anything added to the list of stuff I already know? Use your own tools to monitor what's left. Figure it out. Splunk, awesome stuff. Any SIM can do it.
Well, I think one thing that's interesting is people are so fixated on real-time absolute detection, and when you look at the numbers, you know, things are going days and days and days and days and days without being detected. If you put basic controls in place, okay, that's lame that it took you 5 days that this was added to the startup item,
Yep.
But then you look at your eyeballs and you're like, that's not good, that's bad. Hey, congratulations, you detected it in 5 days.
We look at several thousand systems. You would think the reports that come out of this thing would be too noisy. It is shocking how small they are, the actual changes that occur. I have one big fix analysis to add to Renegade's talk. One big fix analysis I send to the servers team. Just one. If anything new in WBM shows up, call everybody. Malware's on the box. DLL injection with WMI. Done. Bam. Number one thing they love to do. So that's what we look at. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I don't care what extension it is. I don't care what the file name is. I don't need to know anything about the malware. Splunk, can't say enough about it. The ability just to create real queries on your own, but you do have to log, you got to turn stuff on, everything else. Okay, logging by default is not there. You have to enable, it takes up storage, you got to work with your team, yes, 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 but man, when you do, it's awesome. Matter of fact, 2 top tools. If I had a budget, no tools, I'd buy Tanium or BigFix, and I'd buy Splunk, and obviously tell IT I need the storage to upload all those files. And I can protect you. I will be in that hours or minutes box of blue that I talked about earlier. And again, you want to use the NIST stuff? What was the comment earlier? You are aware that that got popped, right? No, I don't trust that. I don't trust the maintenance of it. I don't trust the fact that it has more stuff in there than I'll ever need. So why should I look at stuff that someone else is giving me when I can take and build a box I know that's exactly like my environment and use that list as what I'm looking for? If I want to supplement it and there's some intelligence that I can trust that hash, but again, the minute you go outside and start trusting someone else's hash, you better have some high level of trust. So malware management, the third component. Treat malware like vulnerabilities. There's no different here. Microsoft says this thing is vulnerable. You need to patch coming out or set this reg or block this port or whatever. Malware's the same way. What directory, what location, what extension, what can I learn from it, what reg keys, set up the analysis or your batch files or scripts and go look for it. Exclude the unknowns, and your unknowns will fall out. Unknowns, known unknowns, all that good stuff. Right? Look at these key points. Here's the path that the malware's taking. Go set up an analysis or check to go look for it. Remember, you've got that short list now. Go look there. Here's a key. Here's a file name. Here's whatever the heck's in here. Some more programs and locations and variables. Take that information out of all these analyses. Take the short list, create some scripts, use your tools, and monitor these areas. WBM, don't worry too much about System32, Windows, app data, program data, look for new directories being created, all that.
The other thing I think is really important is you're talking about Windows, but these steps work really great on Mac and Linux.
Yeah, anything. This is OS agnostic here. I just happen to have Windows examples here. So again, next step, go out and use the repository, build one. If you can prove that you're building one of these and using it to us, there's more about this in a second. Follow us, Twitter, MI2 Security, I'm Hacker Hurricane, follow both of us. Sign up for our early adopter program. Ooh, what's that? So, if I could ask for the recording to said stop, I will continue.
We are not recording your slides.
Because we all want this, right? You can do it. It is doable. We have proof.